Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ryan McDonald, and we're here live at E3 2011. I am joined by Stefton Hill. How you doing, Stefton?
Hey, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So, you saw we opened up pretty strong with the Nintendo Wii U.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty exciting.
Oh, definitely.
I saw today. I don't know if you can comment on it, but I saw today in the video in the press conference that your game that you're here for, Batman Arkham City, is totally going to be a Wii U game. Is that right?
That is right. Yeah. And that is about as much as I can comment on it.
I figured. But there's got to be a lot of fun. But either way, you are here. You've brought the game.
Yep.
You've got somebody off camera who's going to be showing us the business.
Yeah.
So we get to see the whole demo up here. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like E3 is really exciting for us because we get to bring the game here and actually get people to get their hands on it. You know, which is the real test. Actually getting your hands on and actually playing the game. So, you know, we've had great feedback already. We're really excited by that. So, you know, let's take a look at it. Definitely.
All right, let's go into the business and let's not waste any time. Let's see what you guys got.
Yeah. Cool.
So we see E3 demo. Now the first thing you guys are going to show us a little Catwoman action, right?
Yeah, we're going to show you, as we revealed recently, exclusively on GameSpot, in fact. That,
quite surprising, I might say.
A total surprise, yeah, that Catwoman's going to be a fully playable character in the game. This was something really exciting for us. We wanted to let players play someone who's quite different from Batman, someone who has different abilities and kind of a different goal and objective. So we felt Catwoman was a really cool character. She's got her own gadgets, all her own animations, all her own moves, her own way of getting around the city. So, you know, it was a real chance to do something quite different to what you get to do as Batman.
This scene that we're seeing here,
Sorry to disappoint you, boys.
what point in the game does this take place?
So this is really early on in the game. It's one of the first things you'll see. So we have a group of Two-Face guys who are basically protecting this safe, and they're waiting for Two-Face to turn up. And basically the story, Catwoman's story, mainly revolves around this running feud that she's got with Two-Face.
Nice.
So the first thing she's going to do is break into this area, and she's going to try and steal back these plans that Two-Face has got. And you can see here, Jez is pulling off some great moves, takedowns, different attacks that she can do. She's got the whip that she can use to stun. There's an aerial attack that she can do. She can use a whip trip as well, a beatdown where she can do a focused attack on one person, floor sweep. So lots of really cool, unique moves just for her. And she's got her own gadgets as well, like cow chops that she can drop on the floor to trip people up, bowlers that she can throw. So, you know, she's a really cool character.
I've got to say for the folks watching at home, we got big crazy HD streaming and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they see it as good. This game looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the guys, what they've done, I think, you know, what the art team and what the technical guys have done is amazing. That we've tried to take all that love and care and attention that we did for Arkham Asylum, but kind of writ large on the kind of cloth of Gotham, so really scale everything up, but still keep that same level of detail, you know. So the challenge for us that we set right at the start is, what's going to be really exciting? What do we want to do next? Let's take Batman into Gotham, you know. Let's take Batman into Gotham City. But what's going to be really cool about that is, well, what would be the biggest challenge for Batman in Gotham City? So we kind of walled off this district, and basically what's happened following the events of the first game is that Quincy Sharp, who was mayor of Arkham Asylum, he's declared that Arkham Asylum wasn't fit for purpose. So he's closed down Arkham Asylum, he's walled off this huge district of Gotham, and basically just thrown all the people from Arkham Asylum in here with all of the inmates from Blackgate Prison. So you've basically got this kind of concentrated district of pure super criminality, basically. Just every single one of Batman's worst nightmares located in this one place. And I think what's quite fascinating is that they're all out to do their own thing. So, you know, what Joker's trying to do is totally different from what Penguin's trying to do. That's totally different from what Zaz is trying to do, you know? So, and as Batman, you know, the only thing that's stopping any of these people getting what they want to do is Batman. But they're all doing different things, so it's a really hard kind of juggling act that you've got to take on as well. So I think that's what makes it really, really interesting.
For me, you know, and as I'm sure all the fans that love the first game, you know, it sounds like, just the way you explain it, that there's much more content to this one than there was in the first one, is that right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have still our core main story, which you're looking at around about sort of 15, 16 hours gameplay for the core main story. But then on top of that, we have all these side missions that you can do, basically going after different supervillains. And I think if you want to take down all the supervillains inside Arkham City, you're looking at well over 25 hours of gameplay. So it's a really good, solid amount of gameplay. You can see here actually one of the things that Jez is doing as he plays. He's identifying the Riddler informant. This is a guy who Riddler has paid to give him information, and Batman's identified him by cross-referencing with a database of all the different people that he knows that work for Riddler. So what he's going to try and do now is he's going to try and interrogate this guy. He's going to try not to beat him up too much. This is really the skill of this. He's going to try and avoid hitting the guy who's highlighted in green and beat everyone else up in the party and just leave the informant left. So it's quite a skill, it's quite a challenge, and you'll see that hopefully when he does it, it will leave just that guy and he can interrogate him for information on the whereabouts of different trophies in the environment. So one of the things, so you see, there's the last guy. So he can interrogate this guy now, lift him up, true Batman style.
Oh, wow.
And basically find out what secrets Riddler's paid him to play around to sort of toy with Batman. So that's kind of an idea of something that's sort of off the main path. You don't need to do that if you want to hunt down these different secrets. Kind of Riddler's a bit of a spectre in the game. He's kind of a ghost. He's kind of working behind the scenes all the time. He's not like an overt, maneuver like Joker or Penguin, who's really all about brute force. Riddler's all about being smart, being intelligent. So he's going to try and basically, what he's done is he has a number of different hostages, and he's going to try and basically prove that he's smarter than Batman by setting up all of these different puzzles and challenges for Batman. But the game this time is Batman's playing for these hostages' lives. So if he gets it wrong, these guys get killed.
Wow.
So he's really up the stakes from the first game. You can see some cool secrets here. So one of the secrets Jez has done there. Basically, you've got these big kind of blast doors that Riddler set up, and you have to use the dive boost, which you've seen as Batman's been moving around. The dive boost is just this great way to get around the environment. We'll see here as Jez goes up, he uses the grapple boost to flip up off the gargoyle, and he uses that momentum to glide around the city. He can go, this is kind of one of the big features of the game really, is this momentum gliding. It's probably the thing that actually wastes the most hours in our office. We're all playing the game, you're in meetings, we're talking about designing, and then we just set ourselves these crazy challenges to dive through different areas of Arkham City. Another cool move you'll see here is Batman can slide under objects.
Oh, cool.
So he can actually use that as part of combat, and you've got that trophy there. You can slide under and grab the trophy while you're sliding under the object.
That's crazy.
So lots of different moves. You can actually combine the slide into combat as well, so you can slide, trip people up, combo off of that. So as with the first game and the combat system in the first game, there's loads of different moves you can combo together. And we had that kind of real feeling of we wanted to create this kind of flowing gameplay and extend on that. So all the skills you learnt in the first game, you're going to be able to use here. But then there's like twice as many combat moves that you can switch in as well. Wow. So loads of different variety in there as well.
I mean, when he was working in that crowd of guys down there, when he was avoiding the informant, I was noticing whether you call it the animations or whatever, it just seemed like there was a lot more going on with what he was doing.
There's like over twice as many animations in the game. There's twice as many moves that Batman can do. And I think like one of the really cool things is that those are all adding to the gameplay as well. Like one of the things that we try and do, Rocksteady, is make a game that's all about the gameplay. So we're not specialists. We're not here to make big set pieces or big quick time events. We want to put the game in people's hands. We want you to play it and we want you to have fun with it. So that's what we want to bring here at E3 as well, is kind of give people a chance to actually play it for themselves and enjoy it. And we're really happy that the kind of feedback from people is, which we really believe as well, that this is even better than the first one.
I will give you my initial feedback sitting 10 feet away from it for the first time. I will say that the scale, already I'm super excited about the scale, seeing him fly up and seeing that city and floating around. And then the other thing is that I got one personal question I totally got to ask you. I had so much fun with the combo challenges they had in the first game. Are those back?
Yeah, combo challenges are back. Our challenge maps are back. I can't talk too much about them, but I can tell you they're bigger and better than ever. We've got new features for the challenge maps, and they put a whole new spin on it. So, you're still going to be able to do leaderboards, challenge your mates, but there's a whole new element in there, which is really cool. You're going to love it.
I hate to talk over the game at all. I'm sure it's obviously loud for us here on stage, but the folks at home, they probably can hear Two-Face talking right now. I've seen him in the trailer. It's amazing. The one thing I'll ask you as well is, with the expanded scale and all the stuff you guys got going on, is it is it less of a linear experience then? Do you get to go pick and choose which way you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the great things with the side missions is basically we do have the main thread, so you've still got that kind of focused story that we had from the first game. But as a player, you can pick and choose when do you want to take on the side missions, when do you want to try and track down Zaz, find out what Zaz is doing, you know, when you want to find out what all these other main characters and supervillains are doing, and what's their angle in Arkham City. You know, everyone's got an angle, everyone's trying to get something out of Arkham City, everyone's trying to turn it for themselves. And as the player, you can choose when you want to do any of those side missions. You know, you're free to dive in and out of them, dip in and out of them as you want. So I think that adds a whole new element to the game. And there's some really cool ones in there, you know, there's some great side, I don't want to ruin any of them, but like some of my favourite moments are in the side missions because they're really unexpected, you know, so you've got the main thread, but you can jump into these things and you'll find out new things about the game and even about the first game that you didn't even realise were happening.
The one thing I got to ask you, otherwise I'm sure there's a billion people at home and I should look at their questions too, is detective mode. I hadn't seen no detective mode actually with these guys.
I mean, we've still got detective mode. One of the big things is that you are Batman, so basically, you know, we want to make sure you're still empowered, you're still, you know, you're the goddamn Batman, so you've got to feel like Batman, right? So we're not going to take anything away from the player, you know, we're not going to nerf any of the skills of the player, but at the same time, we've sort of focused detective mode, and we've actually made it more powerful in some ways, but for what you'll use it for. So detective mode is all about hunting down enemies, it's all about tracking enemies. So when you flip to detective mode, you can't see the world quite as clearly, but the enemies really pop. You can pick them out really clearly. And then on top of that, we have like a surveillance scanner, which is part of detective mode, which enables Batman to listen to what everyone's saying in Arkham City. So it keeps him one step ahead. So he can hear all the conversations on the streets that are going on.
Is that like based on like the thing that we saw in the movie that he was like with all the crazy...
Yeah, kind of like that. He's basically amplifying what everyone's talking about. And you can get hints and tips about what the supervillains are up to, and at the same time, you can also hear people talking about what you've been doing, and it's kind of a great way to see how your actions are impacting the greater world as well.
That is very clever. And the one thing before we started talking there, you had a bunch of dudes on the screen, and there was a ton of those guys on the screen. Yeah. There's more than I ever saw in the first game, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've got over twice as many enemies in the fights as well.
Wow.
So it's something that we really ramped up because, you know, we love the free flow combat system and we got so much positive feedback on it that we wanted to really push that, make the next evolution of that. We didn't want to, you know, we didn't want to do something different, but we wanted to take that and evolve it, which is why I say we've got twice as many moves, but twice as many enemies to fight as well. They're coming with new weapons and skills as well, so the supervillains have been watching what you did in the first game, and they're coming back with even bigger things to take you down with. You know?
That's incredible. The one thing is, as I look towards our chat room, and I will alert the folks at home if you want to get some questions our way, you can do it through Twitter at GameSpot, or you can also be in the chat room right now. I'm looking at our live E3 #2 room, which is a whole ton of you guys in there. The one question I'll ask you right now is like, how do you mix it up? Is it, you know, do I play as Catwoman one level, and then I go back to Batman, and then vice versa, yeah?
So Catwoman's story is kind of seamlessly interwoven into Batman's story, so you'll kind of move between the characters. I mean, Catwoman we've sort of described as a special guest star, so this is, make no mistake, this is still Batman's game. You know, you're going to be playing as Batman for the majority of the game. You know, I'd say you play her for about 10% of like 25 hours plus, so a really good chunk, but it's still Batman's game. And you'll go in and out, and their stories are kind of interwoven, so you'll see how what they do sort of affects each other. But like I say, Catwoman's taking advantage of the fact that Batman's trying to stop all these things happening in Arkham City. So what can she do? She's out for #1, so you know she's looking to see what she can get out of the situation.
But it would seem, right, you guys continue that kind of tinge of love relationship there, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a spark between the two of them, however much either of them choose to acknowledge that, you know, and but they both have these different kind of objectives, and that's what kind of makes them fascinating, is that you never quite know which side either of them are going to fall on, you know, when push comes to shove.
Yeah, oh, there we got some detective mode going on. What's he looking for here?
So this is a cool moment, basically. You saw in the cinematic before that Joker's shot at Catwoman, tried to kill her. So what Jez is doing here, he's actually tracking the two different bullet holes, and he's going to project from that bullet hole, those bullet holes, the trajectory, and figure out where the bullet came from.
He's
going to see that the bullet was actually shot. Let's have a look.
Somebody sniping
From the top of a church bell tower.
I've got I've got a question from Kobe Zero here that says, any co-op multiplayer stuff that you can talk about?
So we looked at co-op multiplayer and we did think about it, but really what we wanted to focus on was telling the best Batman story we could tell. And we decided that, you know, to create Gotham City the way we wanted to create it, on the scale we wanted to create it, and with the amount of hours gameplay we wanted, that if we did multiplayer as well, it would just dilute that experience, you know. So our commitment is just to do one thing as well as we possibly can do it, and that was to deliver Arkham City. So there isn't any co-op or multiplayer, but trust me, the game's awesome. You're going to love what we did do.
That's awesome. That is a good place to end, sir. Sefton Hill, you are awesome. Thank you so much for coming by the stage. Batman Arkham City, the game looks incredible. Remind folks again when we're going to see this.
It's out October 18th over here in the States.
It's going to be a long wait, but it looks like it'll be well worth it. Thank you again for coming by. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Ryan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Batman Arkham City here on the E3 2011 live stage here for GameSpot.